International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, teachers engaged in advanced subsidiary certificate, new ombudsman challenged to champion human rights, AR leadership buys more time on land delivery, farmers invited to attend Farmers Information Day, and Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, the Commerce Regional Council Education Directorate hosted a regional Namibian Senior Secondary Certificate Advanced Subsidiary Level consultative meeting with various teachers from the Commerce region and the Education Minister.
Deputy Director for Programs and Quality Assurance at the engagement noted that a total of 16 schools are offering advanced subsidiary level, 2 of which are private, with a total of 25 subjects being offered on AS level.
Total number of candidates that have registered, 2,803. The ones that qualified, 1,333. But we could only register 880 of those students. So those qualified in subjects not offered, 77. So you will understand not everybody can be registered. There are certain criteria that these students need to meet in order to be enrolled. With regard to our teachers, total number of AS teachers in the Commerce region that we have earmarked for this process, 199 teachers. So we are still in the process also of placing these teachers safely at all these schools. You must remember not all schools are offering the AS level. So you will still find some teachers that have experience to teach at AS level that might still sit at schools that are only going up to grade 11 level. So that process is ongoing where we are doing staff provisioning. We place all the teachers as per their specialized area.
The Minister of Education at the engagement encouraged teamwork and resourcefulness amongst teachers, adding that the implementation of the advanced subsidiary certificate requires competency.
The curriculum reform in general, and especially the introduction of advanced subsidiary, whom we have had, is a new certificate. It's different from the high level that we used to have. It involved an aspect of change, and many speakers have already talked about change, which has implication to change on how things should be done. It involves change in the unity of purpose that we need to have. It involves the need to share information at different levels, platforms, including this one. And I believe from all the presentations we've really seen that there is still a lot that we need to learn, continue learning about advanced subsidiary until such a time that we can stand up and say, at least we are there. The class of 2021 teachers whom we are here to meet today, learners, principals, directors, including minister, we are all trailblazers. Who of us has ever implemented AS in Namibia? Even myself as a minister, as a former teacher, as a former director, I've never done it. So we are all trailblazers. We are the people to do it first. Dear staff members, one way of dealing with something that one might consider a challenge is by breaking it in smaller units. How do you break up advanced subsidiary in smaller units? Break that task up in smaller units. Start with your region. How many learners do you have who are doing advanced subsidiary? 808. 880. You are the largest countrywide, 18.3%. These are the only percentage that you should contribute to the passing of these learners. If every single region would make sure that the learners that are registered in my region to do advanced subsidiary are, how much percentage of the 100% of the 4,900 that you need to pass? And you focus only on yours.
The advanced subsidiary level comes into effect for the first time this year for grade 12s and will replace the NSSCH. It is the last phase of the curriculum review.
Why do we do it? Cover up, tone down, hide, instead of choosing boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
The Institute for Public Policy Research's executive director has challenged the incoming ombudsman, who will succeed Advocate John Walters, who has held the position for nearly 2 decades, to be a human rights advocate. This comes after the Judicial Service Commission held the country's first ever public interview with candidates shortlisted for the constitutionally mandated position.
Some of the proposed changes that aim at ensuring the independence of the office were proposed as long ago as 30 or 25 years ago. But sadly, some of those changes have not yet been introduced. How do you propose you would do to ensure that you get the political will that is required, in my respectful view, to ensure that those changes are implemented, that the Ombudsman bill that is in the offing is finalized and tabled in the National Assembly and is approved by Parliament? What would your approach be?
The public interviews, which were extensively covered on social media and the national broadcaster, are a positive step forward for the Judicial Service Commission, according to Graham Hopwood. Hopwood, on the other hand, also claims that the 3 shortlisted candidates failed to impress him during their interviews with the Judicial Service Commission.
I think what was missing in the interviews was the sense that any of those people could be a champion for human rights. And really, in terms of our constitutional bodies, that is one of the main, if not the main, role of the Ombudsman, to be a champion for human rights in Namibia. And so I just hope that whoever they do appoint does rise to that challenge. As for the interviews themselves, they were not very exciting, maybe not so interesting to the outside person who might just want to see what was going on, but I felt all 3 candidates gave answers that might technically be correct or legally be appropriate in terms of the mandate and role of the Ombudsman, but that they lacked a passion, a real sort of sense of interest in the issues that are listed in the Constitution as being the main ones in the Ombudsman's mandate. So, there was a feeling that they didn't really know why they were applying. I think several were asked twice, why do you think you're the right person for this job? And instead of really giving a convincing answer, they tended to say, just recount the details of their CVs. So I think, from that point, it was a little bit underwhelming and disappointing.
According to the most recent Ombudsman report, the office received 638 complaints against and linked to Nampol in 2019, compared to 596 in 2018, and also investigated around 30 police stations and other public institutions in 2019. Hopwood suggested that the new Ombudsman work to raise public understanding of the Ombudsman's mandate and services offered to the public.
The Ombudsman's office under the new persons particularly needs to go out to the public and go out to beyond Windhoek and really advertise its services and what it can do to assist ordinary Namibians who might have an issue with government, who might have an issue in terms of their human rights, and the office can also take matters to court when they don't feel they are being addressed in an appropriate way. So they have quite a lot of power, and they should be absolutely independent of government. So the potential for the office in terms of its role is very great, and it's to be hoped that Namibians get a better sense of what the office is about and use it more in the future.
Advocate John Walter's 17-year term, which was recently extended by President Hage for a 2-month period as acting ombudsman, is set to expire at the end of September, with one of the 3 nominated candidates taking office in early October. The 3 shortlisted candidates for the ombudsman position are Thusi Namiseb, the National Council Secretary, Ruth Herunga, Fishco Interim Chief Executive Officer, and Basilius Diakuga, a Principal Legal Officer of the Law Reform and Development Commission.
We can't wait to be together again. But until then, let's stay safe.
Did you know? COVID-19 vaccines may not only prevent you from getting seriously sick. Vaccines allows your body to fight the virus well before an infection occurs. This greatly increases your chances of not getting seriously ill when infected. The government provides COVID-19 vaccines for free, and they are safe for people aged 18 years and older, including those with pre-existing conditions. Remember, it is important to go for both doses of the vaccine to make sure you are fully protected.
So, get vaccinated. Help kick COVID-19 out of Namibia.
This message was brought to you by the Nationhood and National Pride Program in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
The affirmative repositioning movement has slammed the media for fabricating stories about their activist-in-chief, Job Amopanda, who was accused in media reports that he'll receive a 5% salary increase. The AR leadership has also requested extra time to deliver land due to problems and the fact that they cannot do much with only 2 members on the council.
Because Windhoek is not run by AR. City of Windhoek is run by coalition. So sometimes when I hear people making noise and say, no, AR is not giving people land, you just wonder. 2 seats out of 15, you are remaining with 13. But they attribute everything that AR must give you land. We voted for you. Voted for who with 2 seats? Even someone that have voted for Southwest Africa with 5 seats. So everyone is saying AR. You just begin to wonder. Perhaps they don't know the modus operandi of municipality or so forth. Yeah, so we see the progress, and of course the expectation is very high. But the leadership cannot be holding to someone holding a knife saying, no, 10 left, 10 right, give me land. No. With a program, with our own direction, and we must be given time to be able to deliver those services to them. There are challenges, of course, we can't mask that. But of course, the leadership must be given enough time. People are not elected for 1 year. Council is elected for 5 years. 2020, 2025. So for those that wants to judge and make conclusion who have failed in 8 months are perhaps dwarf observers of politics, and we don't take them serious.
According to the Affirmative Repositioning AR movement spokesperson Simon Aminime, the Windhoek City Mayor was never summoned by the movement despite a report in the daily press. But the movement did urge their 2 AR members of council to come and explain the circumstances of the 5% increase.
I can tell you now, most of those things that were reported is not true. It's lies. So we have propaganda machineries with a cabal that is there trying to tarnish the names and bring confusion amongst people and those things. But someone, for them to say that I'm going to help, you are disciplining somebody on base of what? So if you call someone in to explain to you, you want to discipline them. We want to understand and say, we have sent you there, you guys are on council, this decision might be taken either by the previous council or your council, or either by MC or the council, what is really happening. So we know. So when you call me for an interview, I don't speculate and say, no, allegedly I heard who increase, who. I give you facts and say, council resolution of when this decision was taken, or the budget of the city is presented and signed off by who, this is what happened. We don't want to operate with the speculations and allegations. That's why there was a need for us to call in our 2 representatives for a briefing. And it was not Job and Panda called in 2. It's activist Job and LC Kestel that are representing us on the city council. So media must never make this thing about Job. I don't know what they want to bring up and make it about an individual.
Simon Aminime went on to say that there are certain journalists that are out to get the mayor and have hidden agendas.
The mayor has no executive power to increase his salary. The mayor has no executive power to give land by himself. The mayor has no executive power to pass the budget by himself. And even those things of 5% increase, it's just funny. The same guy that reported that no, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development blocked the 5% increment. It's the same journalists that go and report and say the current mayor is going to get 5% more than the former mayor. So it's just some pedestrian views that are there. Of course, they want to bring all this sort of confusion and so forth. But all I'm saying is that the Affirmative Repositioning Movement is a broad-based organization with its leadership. And we believe the same way we are demanding for accountability and transparency elsewhere, we started from home. So ourselves must first be accountable and transparent in whatever we do.
The AR leadership wants to reassure the public that they will continue to fight for the best interest of their residents.
Small and large-scale farmers, especially those in the Otjadonjupa region, are invited to attend a Farmers Info Day in Okakarara. The event is organized by NAM Farmers, a farming and agriculture platform which focuses on promoting agriculture in Namibia. The event is taking place this Saturday in Okakarara. The Farmers Info Day, according to NAM Farmers Marketing and Communication Specialist Ishmael Hanok, aims to engage both small and large-scale farmers on issues affecting them and how to find solutions.
So the Farmers Info Day is actually to facilitate farmers, is to bring farmers into direct contact with the different service providers that we have within the agriculture sector, like from the cropping sector, from the livestock sector. We bring them together, we interact, we engage, and then we look at how better we can actually solve some of the challenges that the sector is facing. So the day, all farmers are actually welcome to come attend the days, whether it's commercial farmers, communal farmers, emerging. We actually expect a mixed multitude of farmers for the Farmers Info Days. It will indeed be a productive day and one that is full of engagement with farmers.
Apart from just promoting, NAM Farmers plan to address the issues affecting the farming sector, says Hanok.
So within the agricultural sector, there are different types of challenges that the sector experiences. So apart from promoting, NAFAMAS also intends to address some of the challenges that are being experienced within the sector, whereby it can come up with tailored solutions on how it can better address some of these challenges. So in just a quick snapshot of some of the way in which we promote the sector, it's through by our NAFAMAS magazine. It's actually a printed magazine, printed and both online, that is circulating every month and it's available in our local retailers. And then we also intend now to come up with farmer session days, whereby we just educate farmers on specific topics, and we do basically then also offer trainings. You know, when you educate and train the farmers, they will always get to be more productive and be good at what they do. So in general, that's actually what NAFAMAS is all about.
All farmers interested in attending the Farmers Info Day are welcome to join. The event is scheduled to take place this Saturday in Okakarara.
Stay true to who you are and stay true to Namibia sounds. Starting September 4th at 7 p.m., Valentine's and 99 FM bring you the True Music Sessions, a back-to-back playlist of our nation's finest artists, brought to you by the finest blended Scotch whiskey, Valentine's. Stay true. There's no wrong way.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All Simba flavors. Let's roll. Guys, smoked beef. Kwanga vinegar. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
We've got loads of character savings at PEP. Character tops are only $39.99. More fun for everyone. With character backpacks at only $54.99. Every day is a big adventure when you pack in more action. Life's better with PEP. Life's better with PEP.
Stay connected during lockdown with unlimited internet from as little as 399 Namibian dollars per month. Get faster home internet at these amazing prices. Sign up now and get free installation plus double the speed, or enjoy double the speed if you're already signed up. Contact us at spectraadmin@mtc.com.na or call toll-free 901111. Get there with MTC Spectra Home. MTC, make the connection.
In other leading stories, the Windhoek Municipal Council has resolved that the proceeds from the sale of land resulting from the subdivision of portions from public open space be kept in a dedicated fund to be used for the development of the public open spaces, parks in the city. The city has in the past experienced challenges regarding the development and maintenance of parks, and thus the new approach by the council to create a dedicated fund towards the development of parks is expected to bring much needed relief to the residents of Windhoek. Meanwhile, the council has also approved the postponement of the Windhoek Uitams Arts and Cultural Festival, which was scheduled to take place from the 28th until the 30th of October 2021. The festival aims to develop and promote arts and creativity as a means of expression and connect people across cultural barriers whilst stimulating the generation of economic opportunities. However, the restrictions of the COVID-19 pandemic, such as social distancing and limits to the number of people allowed per gathering, have negative impacts on the successful hosting of an event of this nature, and thus the festival will be postponed until all restrictions are lifted and the situation has stabilized. And Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, and Honorable Dr. Lemogang Kwape, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of Botswana, will jointly undertake the goodwill visit to Kasane Chabi district in the Republic of Botswana and Katima Melilo, Zambezi region in the Republic of Namibia. During the working visit to Namibia by His Excellency Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, on the 29th of January this year, Their Excellencies President Hage Geingob and President Masisi directed that their foreign ministers undertake a joint visit to the border area to familiarize themselves with the situation on the ground, including engaging communities on the importance of peaceful coexistence and good neighborliness along the common border. The joint visit is also taking place within the framework of the Memorandum of Understanding on Diplomatic Consultations between the two ministries.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All the Simba flavors. Let's roll. Guys, smoked beef. Kwanga vinegar. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
Joseph Shifani is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifani. The Minister of Mines and Energy said the mining industry has remained safe from the devastating impact of the pandemic affecting other industries. He attributes this to the positive relationship between government and the country's leading economic sector that accounts for 10% of the gross domestic product every year. The 2021 Mining Expo, organized by the Chamber of Mines of Namibia, took place this week under the theme, The Namibian Mining Industry's Resilience and Growth Post-COVID-19. Addressing the over 400 participants from the industry at the virtual event, Minister Tom Alwendo said the industry has performed well at a time when most sectors are on the decline.
When we compare the mining industry to other sectors, I must mention that we came out mostly really unscathed by this black swan event, the coronavirus. The ability of the mining industry to push forward under these difficult times is an indication of a positive working relationship between ourselves as the government and the mining sector. As we rebound stronger from the COVID-19 crisis, I am immensely proud of how the mining sector responded to that pandemic so far, whereby operations continued and employees were kept safe. Namibia's mining companies remained resilient and performed on all fronts, whilst at the same time enhanced their social license to operate, strengthening their obligations in supporting their employees and communities in which they operate. Amidst the slowdown, the pandemic showed the need for mining companies to be good corporate citizens. And during this time, the industry heeded government's call to support national efforts in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
The president of the Chamber of Mines of Namibia, Hilifa Mbako, said the industry is aware of the decline in daily COVID-19 infections, but will not let their guard down as the sector braces for a boost in demand for mineral resources.
We were heartened that in yesterday's announcement, we noted that there was 0 death in all regions of our country, and we hope that today's announcement will be the same. We are really hopeful that we continue to save lives through our different interventions from the government, the private sector, civil society, and all stakeholders. To come back to the conference, Honorable Minister, and all participants, the theme for this conference is a reflection of how the industry has persevered and emerged even stronger from the pandemic that we have no choice but to talk about all the time. For the conference, we have lined up pertinent presentations from knowledgeable and illustrious captains of industry to illustrate the industry's resilience and the growth trajectory to support the economy post-COVID-19, when many other sectors are still reeling from the devastating impact of this pandemic. With the favorable commodity prices, except of course for uranium, the industry is well positioned to reap the benefits of what looks like the beginning of the commodity boom.
The mining industry employs a workforce of 14,000 Namibians and has managed to maintain this figure as the economy enters a recovery stage. The mines minister urged local and international companies to continue adhering to environmental regulations on land use and to support communities that live near their operations. Thank you for watching. Join me again next time and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Complement Gap? Complement Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders, invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. A patient currently recovering at a local hospital following his ordeal with COVID-19 expressed his gratitude towards the frontline workers who assisted him when he got diagnosed with COVID-19 and ended up in the ICU with complications. Philip commended him for recognizing the work of frontline workers and his gesture. While Charlotte, Alistair and Irene are thankful for his recovery. And the affirmative repositioning movement is disappointed in the Walfish Bay Council after they failed to present their external audit report, which allegedly implicated several administrative staff. Today on One spoke to the Walfish Bay mayor, who confirmed that PwC was finalizing the report and that it would be made public soon. The AR also questioned why the Walfish Bay municipality allegedly ordered iPads for their personnel. Shay Kalenga noted that the same is happening in Windhoek. While Willem asked, what about the fat salaries of City of Windhoek councillors, adding that at least people in Walfish Bay are getting houses and plots compared to Windhoek. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One.
Stay true to who you are and stay true to Namibia Sounds. Starting September 4th at 7 p.m., Valentine's and 99 FM bring you the True Music Sessions, a back-to-back playlist of our nation's finest artists brought to you by the finest blended Scotch whiskey, Valentine's. Stay true. There's no wrong way.
Time now for today's sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Welcome and thank you for joining me, Castro Ulumbu, for this evening's edition of Sports on One. The Namibia Sports Commission, together with the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service, today launched the 18th edition of the Namibia Annual Sports Awards with the addition of 3 new categories as well as 3 new judges to adjudicate the Sports Journalist of the Year Awards category. The annual sports event was called off in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today on One Sports Desk has more on this story. Officially launching the event, the Minister of Sports Agnes Jongarero said that despite the Comas region hosting the event, she urged other regions to bid for hosting rights in the future. The Minister also highlighted on current achievements in the sporting fraternity, further requesting for the private sector to get involved in sports development in the country.
The Annual Sport Awards has definitely gone from strength to strength, and it will go for further strength to strength. In the past, it was Windhoek, then it was in Sokopmund, then it was the town of Ondangwa. And it was said already we were planning for the south, but okay, it will come. We endeavor to ensure inclusivity. And when conditions normalize, we will encourage regions to bid for the right to host the awards, as this will facilitate sport tourism, or not only within the country but also in the regions. Current Namibian athletes exploits at various international platforms such as the Olympic Games, Under-20 Youth World Championships, and the ongoing Paralympic Games has clearly underscored the undoubted potential of the country's untapped athletics and athletes' potentials. Truly, how many other sporting gems can be unearthed if the private sector can come on board and sponsor sport development within Namibia? Now I know, and I'm grateful, the private sector is on board. But to come at the end, it's good. It's assisting us. But actually, we need private sector to help us from the development part.
At the launch of the 18th edition of the Namibia Annual Sports Awards, the organizing committee announced a number of changes to this year's event. The Namibia Sports Awards continue to grow, and in efforts to give back to the community, this year's event will include the Community Aspiration Award, which was initiated at the 2019 edition in Ondangwa.
The board have approved judges that were already serving on the committee to continue with the work. And on top of that, we have now appointed 3 more judges to look at the category for Sports Journalist of the Year. And those include Mr. Carlos Kabekwa, Ms. Ilke Platt, and Mr. Isa Kamata. We have also had 17 categories in the previous edition of the event, but this year we are adding additional 3 categories, and that includes the Community Inspiration Award, which was initially brought in to 2019. We have also brought in a new category called the Professional Athlete of the Year category in the diaspora. That is for us to recognize those who are actually competing on a professional level. So that's another new category. We also have a category to recognize the Federation of the Year category, that is to allow the federations to see the contribution that the federations are doing and to build on what they are doing in the offices so that we can at least improve in terms of how we professionally handle sport in the country. The period of consideration will be from the 1st of October 2019 until up to the 31st of September 2021.
This year's award ceremony will take place in the Khomas region in Windhoek on the 30th of October 2021. The event will have a total of 19 award categories. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again next time for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
That was Castro with today's sports update. Time now for the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and warm in the Klares region. Elsewhere partly cloudy and hot. Windy conditions are expected over the interior. The coast partly cloudy and mild to warm, and the wind light to fresh southwesterly. Now we'll look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
That's all we have for you. Do join us again for a repeat at 9:30 this evening and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team. Till next time, good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Very big hello to you, ladies. It's great to be with you on the show again.
Yes.
Welcome to Living the Life.
Marriage is where the work really is.
That's the main.
So no matter how exhausted the event planner is after, oh my God, I just had a beautiful wedding. She did the wedding. That's not the work.
You understand?
The work is the couple now.
The uterus begins to shrink back to its normal size. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for it to get down to below the umbilicus level, and 4 to 6 weeks if you're breastfeeding. So that's another incentive to breastfeed.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
You're wondering, love, what does it really mean? Someone is telling you, I love you. But if you love me, show me that you love me.
Investing in marriage takes a real hard work. It's not something that you just wake up and feel like, no, because I married my best friend. It's not automatic that the marriage is going to work.
I am a prisoner.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I think 2 of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old, they were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future.
My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining to tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palamba, and Palamba is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, Save the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poaching. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's all changed to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I pick up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to our people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etendeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side, we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like
Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward. And who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Just believe in me.